Welcome back. You're watching Business Morning on Channels Television. On the program today, the conversation has been on personal finance management in the face of various global and domestic economic situations. I've been having a conversation with the Managing Director, Cowry Assets Management Ltd, Mr. Johnson Chukwu. He's still here with me in the studio. Thank you so much, Mr. Johnson.
My
Mr.
pleasure.
Chukwu, sorry for sticking around. Always make that mistake. So before we went on that quick break, you were talking about how investing in the equities market is a sure way, especially for somebody who has a very high risk appetite and can see long term. It's not a short term thing. But I also know that insurance as well is another aspect where not a lot of people pay particular attention to.
Yes, when you talk of insurance, we obviously have a life endowment policy. A life endowment policy will allow the insured to claim the benefit after the expiration of at the maturity of that policy. So if that person survives that policy period, he gets a lump sum payment that includes the amount contributed over time or the premium he had paid over time and some return on investment, so which makes an endowment policy a form of savings. And the key thing is this: when you have an endowment policy, it does two things for you. If it happens, that if you don't expect it happens, I don't like to hear if they die. You don't expect it happens, your survive, those who survived you, or whoever is the beneficiary of that policy, we receive an amount that includes some compensation, of course, because in the case of insurance, life insurance, you can't indemnify, you can't put the person back in the position that he was, but you get some level of compensation in form of debt payment. But if you survive it, if you live up to the 10th term of that policy, up to the maturity of that policy, you get an amount that compensates for the amount you have set aside every month or every year, plus some income that that money would have earned for you. And that's an endowment policy. Beyond that, we also have, today in today's environment, a compulsory saving that the government has imposed as a result of the Pension Reform Act. Because right now, both the employer and the employee are compelled by law to save for the retirement of the employee. So that's another form of savings. And that amount is invested on behalf of the retirement savings account holder. But the beauty of it is this: for even those who do not ordinarily, who would not ordinarily have saved for themselves, are being compelled to save. But that should not take away the responsibility of each and every one of us. Save and invest.
But looking at the realities, I'll still want to go back to that. And, expected inflation and, of course, increase in prices of some essential commodities. Not a lot of people will, want to go into long-term investment, want to do short-term investment. And in terms of your managing your personal finance, which is the best for now, because you're not so certain about how the economy is going to look. In January, in February, we're expecting elections, to really as it start voting, general elections, and so not a lot of people are very comfortable at the moment with the way they have done their investments, and so they're pulling out as fast as they can.
Well, people are pulling out from speculative investment instruments. There are still some instruments that are a form of gilt edge, that are a kind of insurance against economic turbulence. I did mention the issue of real estate. And that aspect, which is not well recognized here, is investment in precious metals. Obviously, because that market is not well developed here. Issues like gold, diamond. If you look at the price of these precious metals in the global market, financial market, you find out that in periods of economic turbulence, their prices keep going up because they become a store of value for investors. For a discriminating investor, that's also a window. But because a lot of Nigerian investors are not that sophisticated, real estate seem to be the most proximate gilt edge investment we have in the country. And I always say this, you don't need to go and buy a property in Lekki Phase 1. You can as well go and buy a property in Ojodu and start from there. And one of the things, if you're a savvy investor, because one of the things you do is that as you continue to invest, skills keep improving, you may flip that property, and gradually, if you continue to flip the properties you have bought, you may eventually realize that you have built capital to even go to the highbrow areas. But the key thing, you must start. And if you are not started yesterday, today is the next day to start. So as we go into Christmas, as well in celebration, it's showing me because you can see I'm already in celebration mood.
Okay. There's the market's officially closed today anyway.
Yeah, market is officially closed today, and I'm going to my village today.
So, but as you go to your village, let me just still remind you that you must have a budget or what you intend to.
Absolutely, I've already done that, and I'm not going to exceed it by 1 kobo.
Okay, so but for at least for the rest of us and for the rest of the viewers, we must have discipline to save, must always budget, and always know what to invest in, and most importantly, have goals. But thank you so much, Mr. Johnson, for coming on the program this morning. It's been an interesting conversation.
My pleasure.
Well,
Merry Christmas.
Thank you so much. Well, we've been talking personal finance management in the face of all the challenges that we see. And of course, at this particular point in time, you should always remember that long-term investments are the thing, or it's the way to go. It always ensures that your rainy day is always taken care of. But that's the program for today. Thank you so much for watching. And of course, we'll be back again to talk more on Business Morning. But I'm Harriet Agbe. Bye-bye.